Happy American Indian Day at the Legislature 2025. Thank you all so much for joining us today. Before we go any further, I want to start us off in a good way. So we'd like to invite Governor Toronto for the Pueblo of Santa Clara to come up and provide an invitation for us.
Thank you, Tom. Good morning, everybody. Please rise. Nice to see so many beautiful people here today. James Toronto, Governor of Santa Clara, in your own respective way, we'll ask the spirits to join us today. Pray for a good day, a good life. Our core values, love, respect, care, help each other, that things go well here for our communities, for our state, for all our young people, for the veterans, for the elders, and that we work together as one to accomplish all our goals here in Mexico and for the world. And so I'll open up with our prayer and we hope.
Thank you all. God bless you all. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Governor, thank you for starting us off in a good way this morning. So, real quick, before I get too far, I just want to quickly say, we know that the acoustics are kind of tough here sometimes in the rotunda. So you'll see my staff, maybe in affairs department staff, walking around with quiet please signs. And I know we have lots of our booths on the side there, but if we can keep the noise down so that everybody has the opportunity to hear all of our speakers today, that would be really helpful. Thank you so much. So moving along on our agenda, we're going to move right into the next couple of things. We're going to start with the posting of our colors by the Pueblo of Acoma, Legion Post 116, and the Women's Veterans Warriors Honor Guard. And that will be followed by the National Anthem, which will be performed by Jacob Shahey, who's from the Pueblo of Santa Clara. Then please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by high school native language students Dylan Shepard, Araya Crespin, Nakaya Jefferson, and their native language instructor, Navajo language instructor, Miss Nancy Manali. We're also going to have an ASL interpretation by Sydney Pikitwa, 2024-2025 SUNY Princess. And finally, we will have a lead pipe from the Mescala Apache tribe will provide us with an honor song. So I'm going to go ahead and get started.
Good morning, Cliche, buenos dias, the good our beautiful language here in New Mexico. We're honored to be here. Mrs. Kamala, Nancy Kamala, Michelle, Senator Finish, Kaduna Bashishi, Tobijini, Edashanola, Kinani, Finish, Ako, EA, Director, I,
It's in the main one. The main one.
Thank you all so much. Thank you for starting us off in a good way again. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Indian Country. We are so excited to celebrate today with you. Tribal leaders, state leaders, honored guests, thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to sharing some of the exciting initiatives we have going on in the state of New Mexico. As I mentioned earlier, today is the 21st American Indian Day at the legislature. Pueblo of Acoma Governor Charles Riley. Pueblo of Cochiti Governor Becky Herrera. Pueblo of Isleta Governor Eugene Padon. Pueblo of Camas Governor George Shendo Jr. Pueblo of Laguna Governor Harry Antonio Jr. Pueblo of Nambe Governor Nathaniel Porter. Okayawake Governor Ben Lujan. Pueblo of Picaris Governor Wayne Yaza. Pueblo of Milwaukee Governor Janelle Roybal. Pueblo of Leyte Governor Anthony Ortiz. Pueblo of San Ildefonso Governor Christopher Moquino. Pueblo of San Anita Governor Felix Chavez. Pueblo of Santa Ana Governor Myron Armijo. Pueblo of Santa Clara Governor James Naranjo.
It's on there and it's
Pueblo of San Domingo Governor Thomas Solino. Pueblo of Taos Governor Edward
I'll do
Mucha.
it.
Pueblo of Villa Governor Lambert Pino. Pueblo of Zuni Governor Arthur Kumite. Escalero Apache Tribe President Thora Walsh Padilla. Victoria Apache Nation President Adrian Matson. Navajo Nation President Boo Nygren. Navajo Nation Speaker Kisley Curley. Fort Sill Apache Chairwoman Jennifer Hemanokiti. Ute Mountain Tribal Chairman Manuel Hart. We also have several other tribal and state dignitaries joining us today. Thank you all. Also, we want to extend a great big thank you to PNM, New Mexico Gas Company, and Presbyterian for sponsoring various parts of our celebration last night and this morning. We all know that you are all very busy right now, but this is such a great day for us all to celebrate together. So I'm going to move into some housekeeping items, just a few logistics, a little bit to make sure we're all on the same page with everything. Restrooms, if you haven't found them yet, are located just outside on the east and west sides of the Capitol on every floor. Of course, in case of an emergency, the exits are marked. The main entrances and exits are located on the east and west sides of the second floor, which is the floor that we're on right now. The Indian Affairs Department staff, most of them have on maroon polo shirts, and so we have Corn back there, we have Aaron, we have Nora over here, Bridget, and several others that I'm not seeing right now. So if you have questions, please feel free to reach out to one of them or get in contact with one of them, and they will help you out. Again, as I mentioned earlier, if you can help us keep it down as much as possible, keep the noise down, keep it quiet because of the acoustics in the rotunda, so that we can ensure that everybody can hear the speeches. We are also, just so you all know, we are live streaming the event, and my mom from North Dakota is watching right now on Facebook. So finally, of course, we have lots of booths, and we try to squeeze in as many booths as we can, so please take the time to visit and enjoy the booths that are located just outside of the rotunda. There are tables from all different areas, which are including state agencies, tribal serving entities, nonprofits, and other entities. And a special acknowledgement, again, to our front couple of rows, which are reserved for tribal leaders. We also have some seating up here available for elders, so please join us if you can. We also, this is very busy. And then we have a lot of our royalty here this morning too, so we'd like to recognize all of our royalty from all the different nations that we have. Okay. I'm going to move on to reading the proclamation. So I'm excited to announce our proclamation for American Indian Day 2025. Whereas the nations, pueblos, and tribes located within New Mexico are indigenous to this great land and contribute to the rich culture of our state by maintaining their traditions, sovereignty, languages, and culture. And whereas New Mexicans are very proud that Navajo, Pueblo, Apaches, and thousands of American Indian citizens representing hundreds of other tribal nations call our great state home. And whereas American Indians contribute to our great state and nation in every facet of society, including areas such as economic development, conservation, renewable energy, preservation of land, water, and natural resources, serving in the armed forces, and blessing us with beautiful and vibrant cultures, which is an integral aspect of our state's identity and brings thousands of tourists to New Mexico each year. And whereas the state of New Mexico, through the Indian Affairs Department and all other state agencies, works to promote mutual respect between state and tribal governments and supports the principles of tribal self-determination and self-government through laws and policies that strengthen intergovernmental relationships, including through the State Tribal Collaboration Act. And whereas the first Friday of February each year in New Mexico is set aside as American Indian Day in recognition of the many contributions of American Indians to the economic and cultural heritage of New Mexico and the United States. Now, therefore, I, Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham, Governor of the State of New Mexico, do hereby proclaim February 7th, 2025 as American Indian Day. Thank you all. So, thank you all for joining us. Again, our governor is running just a few minutes, so we're going to keep going along. So when our governor comes in, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to her. But I'll get started on some of the items that we're working on. So, again, today what we're focusing on and our theme for today is honoring a legacy of sovereignty and self-determination. So, as you all know, today we're celebrating the nation's pueblos and tribes and Native American citizens in New Mexico. So we decided to focus on honoring tribal self-determination. And you'll see right behind Representative Lenty, and I'm telling him about it, we have a poster that we made. We have a poster that we made this year, and so we got some of those that we are giving out. So we meant to steal one. We are honoring tribal self-determination this year. But I wanted to provide a little bit of context for those of you who may not know, and I'm sure many of you do know. In 1975, the United States, after more than a handful of failed policies, particularly following the atrocious termination era for Indian country, enacted the Indian Self-Determination and Education Assistance Act, often referred to as DAR-ISDEA, which many of us know as Public Law 93-638. ISDEA allows tribes to exercise sovereignty and control their own affairs to a larger degree. So tribes can 638 their programs, often healthcare, education, law enforcement, and often what they're doing through negotiating federal contracts and compacts so that tribes can better meet the needs of their communities. That said, ISDEA is the federal law, and we are a state. But this year marks the 50th anniversary of ISDEA, and we wanted to highlight how New Mexico honors tribal sovereignty. So, just a little fun fact, my admin the other day was Googling cabinet level positions. So if you Google how many states have an Indian Affairs cabinet level position, according to the little AI, it'll tell you that there are 2 states that have cabinet level Indian Affairs agencies, New Mexico and the federal government. Now, I don't think that's entirely true. I do think, I know at least, I think South Dakota and Oklahoma also have a cabinet level position. But either way, how amazing is it that we are one of the few states in the entire country to have a cabinet level position that we've had for 21 years now for the state of New Mexico. Last year we celebrated 20 years. I think it is a testament to New Mexico's dedication to our nation, pueblos, and tribes, and our Native American citizens living here in New Mexico. So what do we do in the state of New Mexico to honor tribal self-determination? In 2009, the state passed the State Tribal Collaboration Act, which is found at NMSA 11-18-1. Citing cases and statutes are trying to is one of my favorite things. I love the law, that's why I became an attorney, and so my staff is talking like, go check the statute. My favorite thing to say, what does the statute say? What does the policy say? So the State Tribal Collaboration Act, calls for many things, but importantly it requires that every state agency provides effective communication and collaboration with the nation's public and tribes, promotes positive government-to-government relations, promotes cultural competency, and that every state agency has state tribal liaisons. Our governor also hosts and meets with tribal leaders across the state every year for the annual State Tribal Leaders Summit, where concerns that matter to Indian country are raised and discussed. In addition to that, every state employee takes the State Tribal Collaboration Act course. And this year, the Indian Affairs Department revamped the training. We hosted a couple of in-person trainings, but then made the course available through an online system for state employees. And as of January 24th, we had already had over 200 state employees that had completed the online course in just a matter of 3 weeks from the beginning of the year. So, all right, so now that I've given like a little bit of lessons and background on why we're celebrating today, the laws and such, which is all things that I love to talk about. I did want to move on and talk about the things that IAD and the state of New Mexico are doing for all of you. Also stuff I love to talk about. So we have been busy. We are very busy. Every single day flies by at the Indian Affairs Department. I'm constantly telling my staff that there is like something new that comes up every day, and we are trying to do the best we can to meet the needs of all of you and ensure that we are moving things along in Indian country in New Mexico. So, last year, I stood before you all as somewhat of an outsider and thinking and hoping and praying all the good thoughts that I would get confirmed, because I wasn't confirmed yet. For those of you who don't know who I am Josette Burnett. I serve as your county secretary for the Indian Affairs Department. I am from Turtle Mountain Banner Indians. I was born and raised on my reservation, lived there most of my life. Came to New Mexico in 2012 to attend the University of New Mexico School of Law, and have not left since. Instead, my legal career working on in Indian country in New Mexico. My kids have been raised in Albuquerque. They are New Mexicans. So again, thank you all so much for allowing me to be here in front of you. So last year, luckily, I was confirmed a few days after American Indian Day, which was a relief. But it also meant that it was really important for me to jump into action and get moving and doing the most that I could, because at that point, we only had 3 years left under this administration. Now we've got 2 years left under our current administration under Governor Grisham. And so I was trying to figure out how can I best help serve the nation's public tribes in New Mexico, and what do I do to ensure that they know that they are my priority and that I am trying to do everything I can to make sure that the state of New Mexico is at the top of working with tribes in this country. So I made a promise to visit each of your tribal communities and spend at least a whole day. I partly failed on that, but I think we made some significant progress. In the last year, I made it to 22 nations, pueblos, and tribal lands in New Mexico, and I've been able to attend over 90 meetings with tribal leadership. So I was lucky enough to spend a full day in 14 tribal communities learning about your community, visiting schools, elder care facilities, witnessing thoughtful community planning to serve generations to come. I had the opportunity to meet with staff and members of your communities and to get to see your homeland and learn about your community. I always say that my heart settles just a little better when I am in Indian country. Every time I am lucky enough to be invited into your homes and communities, I am reminded of where I came from and what we, as Indian people, stand for and fight for, and why I am in this position. And with that, we have our honored guest. I am going to bring her up and I now have the pleasure of welcoming to the podium Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham, who has been a champion for Indian country in New Mexico and continues to ensure that we address the needs of nations, pueblos, and tribes, and ensure that Indian voices are heard throughout our entire administration. Thank you, Governor.
Thank you, Secretary. Who's taller? Washington, I'm taller than you, so. All right, we should have a little fun today, right? We should make sure that we're heard today, all right? And I have a whole really boring, long speech that I am not going to do. job getting capital money into every single tribal community in the state. And I know that you're going to help me thank legislators with hundreds of millions in addition to a set-aside fund called the Tribal Infrastructure Fund that also gets money directly out to sovereign nations. Shockingly, I don't think it's enough. I want more. All right? We are still catching up. And catching up means the delivery of services from early childhood, home visiting, child care, all the way to senior services and long-term care with everything in between. All right? And there are a ton of examples where we're doing incredibly well. And far too many examples where we're not making a dent. So we have 2 more sessions. This is the big one. This is the session where I want you to focus on these 4 things. 1, we need our own capital off the top. All right? 50 to 100 million off the top. What does that mean? If they take it and distribute it to every different place, there's not a lot left. That makes you competitors, not unify with sovereign nations for Mexico. So let's unify and make sure that that happens again. 2, we want 50 million more into the tribal education fund that doesn't go to schools, it goes to you. Right? And you are going to spend that money with the families on those students in the way they need and want. Therapy, tutoring, mentoring, language, all of the things that you know move the needle that our public schools aren't doing enough, particularly for your children and grandchildren. Let's reverse that trend. Let's be the first state in the country to create that direct funding mechanism directly to sovereign nations for education. 3, let's really figure out how we can, outside of your capital request, and outside our money for education, we gotta focus more on our water, wastewater, and broadband projects. Think about how we identify those in every single other bill and strategy. Let's get that directed to Indian country, all right? Because if we don't, the other, particularly building your buildings, fixing your roads, it doesn't quite connect. If we don't have enough clean water or wastewater systems, right, we're just sort of picking one over the other. And if we do that, it costs more, and we're exhausted by the waiting. Right? We've got the money. So let's all wrap around, and here's the 4th thing. It's not in a bill. It's not in a budget. But it is in the halls of this legislature. And there's lots of other bills that I know you're supporting, like the Regalia bill and a number of others that are great. But here's what I want you to insert yourselves. This is the only legislature in America that understands and recognizes sovereignty. All right? The others might respect it, but they aren't funding it, and they aren't investing, not like we are. That's not happening in Utah. That's not happening in Arizona. That doesn't even happen with my friends in California. It's not the same. And today, with a federal government, irrespective of who is in the White House, never met its federal trust responsibility, never met it in any of the funding or health care requirements, right? In any of it, from policing to schools, they never met that responsibility. We now have elected members of Congress, elected governors, and people in the White House who do not believe in sovereignty. We are in a very dangerous place in America. And you hold the keys to demonstrating the power of a legislative body that sees you, that hears you, that recognizes you, that respects your self-determination and independence, and it is the only way to move America forward. We came, we stay the course, and we make sure the rest of America pays attention. Are you ready? I don't want to make it sound like you don't have support here, bipartisan, because you do. And you have that support as I'm looking at a veteran right now who defended his state, who defended his country, and created a free world for everyone. And you know there are other veterans represented today. This legislature sees you, hears you, respects you, and they want to make the differences that we need to make around the world and in our very own country, our very own backyard. I've never been more proud or more honored to be at a day recognizing America's most important values than I am today. I am grateful to you, your leadership, your courage, your heart, and the fact that you make a difference that people believe you every single day. To the tribal leaders who embody this message every minute, every second, 7 days a week, I honor you today. And I am grateful to have this opportunity to say once again, I admire you and I thank you. Have a great day, my friends!
Again, thank you, Governor. I cannot say enough about how much of an honor it has been to serve Indian country in New Mexico under Governor Wilhelm Grisham's administration. I think about it almost every day and the strides and accomplishments and dedication our state has to Native people. So again, thank you, Governor, and thank you to our tribal leaders and tribal citizens and our legislators for entrusting me to work with you and for you and be part of this impactful administration and agency.
Yeah, they could.
All right, so let's go back to some of the things that IND is doing this year. I was talking about the visits that I've made to your nations, pueblos, and tribes, and I just wanted to extend this to you and let you know that I still plan to continue to see those that I haven't had time to make it to yet. So I plan to be there, and I plan to spend some time with you. And I know that it's really hard and it takes a lot of time and effort on the staff.
Wait, I forgot something. Raise your hand if both you remember going to Glorietta, the elders and their caregivers and families and the staff. Raise your hand, keep it up if you want to go back there. All right. This fall, in August, date to be announced, the state of New Mexico will pay for anyone in the aging services not out of their current budgets to come to Glorietta. Who wants to go? That's it? Who wants to go? I better see you there. All righty. Sorry. Take care.
Thank you, Governor. All right. Just to quickly talk about some of the things that the Indian Affairs Department is doing for all of you. We have one of our biggest goals at the Indian Affairs Department this year is to ensure that we have a strong structure within our agency so that we can most effectively serve all of you. Additionally, we want to ensure that IMD and New Mexico, again, are at the forefront of issues that impact Indian country, that we are taking strategic steps to making impactful relationships, much like the governor just talked about, making sure that we are ahead of the game in New Mexico. So just to talk about a couple of the things that we've done regarding behavioral health, we have gone out over $2.8 million to 13 nations, publics, and tribes and tribal serving entities to fund education and support programs for behavioral health and suicide prevention. There was recently a news article that stated that Native American suicide rates are down by about 43% in New Mexico, likely due to success of tribal and state level initiatives. That's amazing. Again, we know that our communities often suffer with higher rates of substance use and other mental health and behavioral health issues and suicide prevention, and I'm sure that many of us have had that happen in your own family. I know we certainly have in our family, and it is something that we in Indian country want to make sure in New Mexico we are addressing. It is one of the goals of our legislature, and it's one of the goals of our governor and the executive. We have also put in funding to the youth councils, allocating over $100,000 to 6 tribal youth councils to cultivate the next generation of leaders so that they can be standing in front of you all and over the next several years representing us and moving us further along. And as our governor talked about with capital outlay, this past year we had over 125 capital outlay projects which delivered over $64.5 million infrastructure throughout tribal communities in the state of New Mexico. I think that's probably unheard of in any other state. 17 infrastructure projects were funded by our infrastructure fund, so we've got 2 ways to get funding that is comprised for infrastructure. And now we've got some legislative things. So I am really excited to talk about these for us. This coming year, this legislative session, right now, the Indian Affairs Department is working with some of our legislators for 2 bills to help Indian country in New Mexico. Our first bill that we're working on is what we're calling the Regalia Bill. We all witnessed, or many of us witnessed, the removal of a student's beaded cap and feather during the graduation ceremony this last year. We saw her plume touched in a manner that made me anxious. And when I graduated from UNM School of Law, I wore a cap and a feather. And so I know what it means for us to be able to wear our regalia and our traditional items to show that we are being honored, and for our families to honor us, and for us to honor our families. So, we are, at the Indian Affairs Department, protecting the rights of Native American students to be able to wear cultural regalia during graduation, celebrating pass the legislation. We have two different bills running around there, similar bills. We have one that's called the Tribal Regalia School Event, which is SB 163. And we have a cultural expression at graduation ceremony, which is HB 194. We also send our great thank you to the legislators who are sponsoring our legislation. So Senator Shendo, Representative Johnson, Representative Anyono, Representative Little, and Representative Joseph Fernandez. So we believe there's a tournament coming up soon, and so we would support or encourage or support us so that we can get this passed in the state of New Mexico. We're trying to say
They heard you.
we need to get it on the books. The other piece of legislation that IDG is helping to move through this year, we're calling it a turquoise alert system. So in New Mexico on any given day, we know that there are hundreds of missing Native Americans. We also know that the first 48 hours are crucial to finding someone. So to ensure that those critical hours are not missed, we are hoping to get an alert system passed that will ensure when families of American Indians in Alaska Native go missing in New Mexico, that alert will be sent up. So it streamlines similar to like an Amber Alert or a Silver Alert, and we welcome your support in addressing this critical need. And we want to thank our legislators for that. We've got two new legislators helping us out with that bill this year. Senator Charlie and Representative Vega are sponsoring this legislation for us. Finally, we're looking at trying to get through $2.5 million comprehensive plan for nation development and tribes. In a lot of my business and tribal communities, one of the concerns I heard is sometimes it's hard to figure out where we should focus because we don't have the funding to make a comprehensive study or comprehensive plan. So we sent out a survey earlier this year to see what tribal leaders thought, and we decided to try to ask and push for it to be for comprehensive plan. About $2.5 million is what our ask is. We have to get that through the legislature and get it passed, but if it passes, Nations, Pueblos, and Tribes in New Mexico will be able to access that funding. Looking at Sean, who was one of the big proponents of it from Colorado, who said we need this. And so we're looking to try to get that passed so that Nations, Pueblos, and Tribes will have access to roughly $100,000 or so to get started on comprehensive planning. Looking ahead, I think hosting at our agency, we are always looking to bring on more staff so that we have more capacity to meet your needs and the needs of our communities. And included in that work, IDG is focusing on researching and trafficking and posting information related to our work at IDG, such as behavioral health initiatives and environmental justice issues, watching what happens in policy throughout Indian countries, states, and the entire country, and administering funds. Again, I'm honored to lead this department and serve as your cabinet secretary for the Indian Affairs Department.
What is that? That's a lot.
I know the difference that we can make, and you have
Casey, you scared me.
that IDG will continue to strive to leave a legacy of streamlined access to funding, consistent communication, and reciprocal respect for our nation's policy sides and native citizens in New Mexico. Every year we see several challenges, and IDG, our administration, is committed to being a responsive partner in all of that. And finally, we know that there are a lot of challenges going on in this country right now. We also know that Indian country could be significantly impacted. I was talking with former Governor Lujan House the other day, and we talked about the reminders that you cannot forget who we are and where we come from. And you've all seen the shirts, right, and the stickers and the designs that say we are the descendants of our ancestors who fought to get us to where we are today. So don't forget your strength, your power, and is the power of being a country. Stay informed, know your rights, stay safe, and stay vigilant. And with that, I would like to now welcome Senator Shenda to come up. Senator Shenda is one of our famous senators here that has helped us out, and the first Secretary of the Navy Affairs Department. And all around.
Thank you, Secretary Annette, and also Deputy Secretary David for putting this event together. I told you it's a coincidence. He's made the whole people day, well, they even have it. It's greetings and amen. I want to welcome all of you to the Capitol. We had a chance to have breakfast this morning with the governor and some of the tribal leaders who were able to make it. And, you know, the Navajo Nation president is young, and I don't think he gets up that early, so make sure he stays awake. Where's the security detail? Good to see you, President Magna. It's really an honor to share a few words. I just want to say that Mimi Stewart, our Senate Pro Tem, was supposed to be here, but she's presenting the bill in the Education Committee, so she sends her regards. But I know that she's a huge supporter of our cause, of Indian country. And as you heard from the governor, you know, this state, and I mentioned to Governor Michelle Lujan, that we've been friends for a long time. We both served as cabinet secretaries in 2004 with Governor Richardson. So that friendship is what we were able to develop, and now as our leader of the state, and having that access to her and talking about what's important in Indian country is huge. And I want to thank all the tribal leaders that are here, our tribal leaders, men, women, our council, our delegates, our seniors, our aunties, our uncles, our cousins, our children, the beautiful, for Hickory or Patsy, just about it. And as the governor mentioned, we have a lot of challenges ahead of us. But I think us as a state can really do to the nation what can happen if we stick together as tribes and really make a difference. You know, I commented in my presentation to the committee when I introduced my education compact bill, was that people come to New Mexico, and I always hear people say that there's something about this place, there's a spirit about this place. And I told my colleagues in the Senate, what that is that even today, we're very lucky that our languages are spoken. That our songs and our dances are still performed, and the rituals and the things that make us who we are as Native people. And that includes the protection of our water, which is very sacred. We all need water. That's why all of our ceremonies and all the songs and the dances and the beautiful poetry we understood is all about rain and snow and moisture. And all of its manifestations is what we sing and dance about, because we lived in this semi-arid desert for many years, and that's how we have survived, and we're able to carry on those traditions even to this very day. So when non-Indian people come to the state of New Mexico, what they're sensing is that spirit and energy that is alive and well in our respective communities, and we will continue to carry on. I also want to recognize the speakers who are a big advocate of Indian issues and so forth. I know that we only have a few minutes. We have a lot to happen in this chamber, and I want to thank all of you that think about us and care for us and come visit us. And I know that we always pray for each of us in our respective roles. And I thank you all for being here. And I know that we got a lot of work ahead to do. But I also want to thank all of you for your continued support and effort, not just the legislature, our governor, our cabinet secretary, secretary, our staff, of all the respective houses of Senate. There's a lot of people that make things happen for us to do the work. And I want to thank all of you for being here this day and safe journeys home back to your respective communities. And thank you all for allowing me to be here. Thank you, Madam Secretary.
Okay, I'd like to welcome Speaker Javier Martinez at first couple of minutes.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Good morning. Still, thank you, Secretary, for the incredible work that you have been leading now for a couple of years here, leading this agency. My name is Javier Martinez. I serve as Speaker of the House. It is the greatest honor of my life. And I want to thank you for making the trip to your state capital. I want to thank you for allowing us, the opportunity to serve you on your land. I want to express to you my continued commitment to ensure that this is not just one day in which we celebrate our indigenous communities. Every day we should be celebrating our indigenous communities because that's who we are. That's who we are. Now, I come from south of here. My family's from Ciudad Juarez. And before them, my grandparents were from Southern Chihuahua State. And I can tell you that one of the saddest things that happened to Mexican people like me is that our identities were erased as a formal policy of the Mexican government. Indigenous identities were erased from entire generations, including my own. In my parents' home state of Chihuahua, there is one tribe left up in the mountains, the Rarámuris. They are the last surviving sovereign indigenous tribe in that state, the largest state in Mexico, which at its peak had hundreds of different tribes, many of them connected to the people here in New Mexico. Now, for me, the idea of honoring that heritage and that sovereign-to-sovereign relationship is paramount to my service in the legislature. I've been here for 10 years, and I've made it a priority not just to be at the table with you all, but to also help build the table alongside with you all. Because let's face it, you are not guests in this land. We are the guests. You are the true owners of this land. So when you come to us and ask for a capital outlay investment, you're not asking us for a favor.
Professor
You are asking us what is rightfully yours. And that includes capital outlay, that includes education funding, that includes higher education funding, that includes policies to help your communities thrive. Now, I've got a great story I want to share with you before I get chased out. About a year ago, a little over a year ago, I took my wife and kids to Mexico City. I'd never been. And as we walked down to the Zócalo, the downtown square, which is, for those of you who have been to Richmond, the presidential palace, the cathedral, it is a big space. It's a Sunday evening, it was full of thousands of people. To the right of the cathedral is what remains of the Templo Mayor, the old Aztec ruins. And as we were walking through, we went into what is now a museum. And I was with my 11-year-old daughter, and we're reading about Cortés incursion in Veracruz, the battles and the wars that took place, and then finally, what became the conquest of the Mexican Empire. And as we were reading, and to the left we see the cathedral, right, the Spanish heritage, and to the right we see what are now the ruins of the Mexican Empire. My little girl asked me, Papa, who won the war? And I stood there, beside and in the background, you can hear outside the drumming singing and the dancing of the descendants of those indigenous communities of Mexico. And you hear the drums just bang, 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 fart. And I told my little girl, who do you think, Lord? And she said, our people are still here. Listen to the drums. I think they won. I think the indigenous people won. They're still here. We will be here no matter what. 500 years later, we're still here. And we will be here. You will be here for time immemorial. Thank you very much.
Thank you to our legislators so much. The next item on our agenda is hearing some remarks from some of our champions of tribal self-determination. Just a quick change to the agenda. Unfortunately, Governor Chavarria, former Governor Chavarria from Pueblo, Santa Clara, is unable to make it this morning, but we still have two of our great speakers. We have the Honorable Joanne James, Chief Justice of the Navajo Nation. And we have Helen Padilla, an attorney, and from the Pueblo of Isleta, who serves as the chair of the Federal Bar Association for the Indian Law Section. So Helen and Chief Justice are going to talk a little bit about tribal self-determination and what it means to us in the country and the state. So thank you both.
I'll text you one second. Okay.
We're gonna look at your terms. Lots of chapters with NFA Vote. We have some snacks and some information on the entry if you want to stop by. Yeah, thank you so much.
Oh, you scared me. I know. Dang it.
Is an years, and other various positions in household to help advance tribal people. I heard from today, Cabinet Secretary who met the president. Today, I want to bring all the tribal leaders, all the federal governors, and all the tribal leaders from Navajo. The discussion of tribal self-determination today helps set the groundwork for all the many discussions that are being held in these halls and the significant decisions that will be made that impact tribal people and tribal communities within the state of New Mexico. Tribal self-determination is the right of American Indian people to make decisions about their government, political status, culture, economic development, and social development. Today, I will reflect on personal experiences I have seen or have been involved in related to tribal self-determination, and how this correlates to the important relationship between the state of New Mexico and our 23 tribes, pueblos, and nations within the state. In the context of this important relationship with New Mexico 23 tribes located here, the principle of tribal self-determination is one aspect of tribal sovereignty that's very crucial. The state of New Mexico has acknowledged the tribe's right to government-to-government relations, as well as the essential roles in fostering cooperation and collaboration. This relationship is fundamental in addressing various needs and ensuring that the tribe's voices are heard and protected. Economic development is a vital aspect of tribal self-determination. My father and people here served on the tribal council as his brother for numerous elected terms throughout his lifetime. During those years, the set of Pueblo made significant decisions that impacted our tribal communities. One notable example is the development of the Sled Fishing League, which my father had as the first director. This initiative not only provided the source of recreation and sustenance, but also contributed to the economic growth of the Pueblo back in the 1970s and continues operating today. Later, the Pueblo's decision to open the Sled Amigo Palace provided employment for both tribal and non-tribal residents alike. I had the opportunity to serve as marketing manager of that business before I actually graduated from law school. Eventually, the opening of the Seven Resort in the casino provided a state tribal gaming house, illustrating the necessity for collaboration between the state and the tribes. These days, I serve on the board of directors for the Human Development Corporation, a highly successful tribal enterprise, and on the oversight commission for the 19 Pueblo district located on Pueblo land in Albuquerque, a tribal government that focuses on generating revenue for all 19 Pueblos. The advancements made for tribal communities take diligence and cooperation between tribal businesses, tribal governments, and our state partners. Tribal self-determination encompasses various other critical aspects of government, including healthcare, living education, social services, law enforcement, and cultural preservation, just to name a few, as Governor Gresham talked about earlier. Each of these areas plays a vital role in maintaining the well-being and identity of tribal communities. Healthcare is a significant concern for many tribes, as access to quality medical services directly affects the health and longevity of tribal members. Our tribal governments need assistance with state health programs and services in tribal communities, especially those tribal that do not have the financial resources on their own to sustain these programs. Indian education is a critical
working with tribes to ensure that public education provided by the state considers, acknowledges, and helps preserve cultural heritage and provides students with a well-rounded education that respects their identity. Cultural preservation is at the heart of tribal self-determination. Efforts to protect and promote traditional practices, languages, and ceremonies are paramount to maintaining the cultural identity of tribal communities. A key component of cultural preservation is protecting our water, the lifeblood of our communities. My father served as one of the first Native Americans of the Middle Rio Grande Conservancy District to uphold and preserve tribal water rights, which are crucial to all communities and tribal governments. During his time on council, Mr. Pueblo erected one of the first water quality standards in the nation in 1992 to preserve and protect the usage of waters of the Rio Grande River agricultural and cultural purposes. These water regulations were acknowledged by the USDA in a manner similar to the state, which is a significant achievement in tribal self-determination. This example shows how tribal involvement can help provide health and environmental safety for not only tribal communities, but for all citizens of the state of Minnesota. There are many other issues that play a crucial role in tribal self-determination, such as public safety, law enforcement, and social services. Tribal-state collaboration is beneficial to all citizens of our state. In the early 2000s, I had the honor to serve as the first general counsel of the New Mexico Indian Affairs Department. That was validated to a cabinet that was appointed by Governor Bill Richardson, who appointed me as again cabinet secretary again in Rio. During my time as general counsel, the department achieved many firsts, including orders and mandates in the Mexico Executive Department to develop a pilot tribal conservation on important matters that impact the Mexico tribal community. A tribal state task force was created for New Mexico tribes preservations in order for us to work with state by state partners. Tribal self-determination is a multifaceted right that encompasses various aspects of governance, from economic development to cultural preservation. The ability of tribes to make decisions about our cultural affairs is essential to continuing the prosperity of our communities. Recognition of this right by both the federal and state governments has seen the state of the Mexico relations and its federal underscores the importance of respecting and honoring tribal sovereignty. As the new federal administration began to elect for that are represented at all tribes of the U.S. With these changes, the relationship between the state of Mexico and our tribes is more significant. As we go through the future, it is crucial to continue supporting and advocating for the self-determination of American people, ensuring that our voices are heard and our rights are upheld. Thank you.
We don't have anything this year. No. So, yeah, this is... That's a Mescalero. We were all over it last year.
We're going to move into some tribal leaders who are going to talk about their remarks about tribal self-determination, honor, and self-determination for the state of New Mexico with their tribal communities. So I'm going to name them all real quick and then get to talk. I'm going to invite President Dr. Boone Nyman from the Mountain Governor Janelle
Thank you so much. That was a quick speech. I just want to say thank you, good morning to all of our leaders who are here today. I was actually testing him. Hopefully he got it all good. And I really want to say thank you to all of the tribal leaders that are here today, because without each and every one of you, for the people that we do it on a day-to-day basis, which is our children, our kids, families, our nation, I want to commend each and every one of you, past, present, and future leaders, and for helping shape and strengthen tribal sovereignty. Let's make some noise for all the leaders that are here today. I also want to introduce myself to Navajo Kutchiki and the strength out of Natos was a shade over the Chiki. That's a shade over time. I know Natos is a and my wife, who is the First Lady of the Navajo Nation, who's the very the person that I look to every single day. Now she's the top prosecutor in Apache County. So the very first Native American in Arizona to be a county attorney in Arizona. So that's a lady that I live with each and every day. So very proud to. Let's hear for our women leaders that are here today. If you would please stand. Here's for all of our women leaders that are here today. Thank you for the work that you do on a day-to-day basis. Also want to acknowledge my two little girls that I have. And I was looking this way, like, I wonder if one of my little girls could be royalty in the future. So let's hear for our royalty who hold on to our culture, our language, our way of life, and they represent the upcoming youth as well, too. So, and also to Governor Lujan, who's here today, and really had a wonderful breakfast this morning with all the tribal leaders that were here. Speaker Martinez, thank you so much. I was going to go out here, but I was like, man, I got to know how to give a speech. I'll stay back here and reference my notes. So again, Speaker Martinez, thank you for always meeting with us tribal leaders and doing what you can to get meaningful legislation across the table. And Senate President Amy Stewart as well, thank you so much. And Cabinet Secretary Josette, let's hear it for her. She's been doing a wonderful job with all the work that we're doing with Capital Outlay. And she's one of those top, not only is she a phenomenal attorney, but she's working with us tribe to say, how do we spend down our money and how do we develop solutions so that we can truly be sovereign, so that we can truly be self-determined. And a lot of those matters, so I want to say thank you so much, and I want to acknowledge us and all of us that are here today, because without each and every one of us being stewards of our future, and how do we continue to defend it, grow our minds, our intellects, grow our people into the future. That's one of the things I think about as we think about celebrating 50 years of self-determination that was passed in 1975. So just so you know, I was around in 1975, okay? I just really want to say thank you, and also want to make a note too that I'm so happy to completely support all of our 23 tribes that are here. I noticed that Lindsay was here, and a lot of our tribal elected officials here, and Governor Lujan for really pushing $50 billion so that we can better train and set up our children for the future. So thank you so much for the legislators, and I look forward to Governor Lujan signing an act into law, the Education Act as well. And again, the 23 leaders that are here today, self-determination in Navajo is on the table. That means you. It's all up to you. And every single day, that's the type of people that we come to. I know that when I meet with a lot of our young leaders, I always tell them, meaning I'm more than capable to do whatever it takes. Because a lot of us in this room grew up without water, without electricity, without our families. We deal with a lot of social ills and pains. But somehow, some way, we were able to get out of it, and we want the very best for the generations that are coming after us. So again, as we continue to celebrate this day, continue to be here, I'm so happy to be among all the 23 tribes that are represented here today. It's a good day to be Indian, it's a good day to be Indigenous. So with that being said, thank you so much for all our past, time strength our present, and shape the future for our children. Go ahead and God bless all the tribal nations of New Mexico. Thank you. Hold on out.
I'm Shanawi Ball. I am the governor for the Pueblo of Washington. I'd like to welcome esteemed community members, governors, honored guests, and dear friends. It is with immense gratitude and deep respect that we gather here today to celebrate an enduring testament to tribal resilience and self-determination. The 23 tribes and nations in New Mexico, as we stand together in this moment, we honor not only our past, but also our shared journey towards a vibrant and empowered future. The story of the self-determination is one woven with the threads of tenacity, cultural richness, and unwavering commitment to our heritage. Our ancestors, with their boundless spirit, laid the foundation upon which we continue to build today. They faced countless challenges, yet their strength and wisdom propelled them forward, leaving us a legacy that continues to inspire and guide us. Former Pueblo Poaque Governor Jacob Gallon, like many current and former tribal leaders, advocated fiercely for the Pueblo Poaque on several occasions and made great strides in showing the state of New Mexico that our tribal sovereignty should be respected. In the 50 years of the Indian Self-Determination and Education Assistance Act of 1975, tribes have been able to take control of federal programs and services previously managed by the government. This act recognized the importance of tribal governance and paved the way for greater autonomy. Self-determination has had a profound impact on Native American communities. It has enabled tribes to develop their own educational systems, healthcare services, and economic enterprises. By exercising their sovereignty, tribes have been able to address the unique needs of their communities and promote cultural revitalization. For example, many tribes have established language preservation programs to ensure that their languages are passed on down to future generations. The Pueblo of Poaque has embraced self-determination with a fierce dedication that is reflected in every aspect of our community. From our initiatives in education and healthcare to our economic development projects and cultural preservation efforts. We have demonstrated that self-determination is not just a goal, it's a way of life. Tribal education programs have flourished, providing our youth with the knowledge and skills they need to thrive in a rapidly changing world. By fostering a deep connection to our traditional languages, we are nurturing a generation that is proud of its heritage and ready to contribute to the global community. We are reinvigorating our traditional health and wellness practices through a blend of modern medicine and traditional healing practices. We are creating a healthier and more efficient community. Tribes know how best to care for their communities. Economic self-sufficiency has been the center of our journey towards self-determination. Our diverse enterprises form sustainable agriculture, innovative business ventures have generated opportunities for our people and strengthened the economic fabric of our community. We have proven that when we control our economic destiny, we can build a future of prosperity and abundance. Cultural preservation is at the heart of everything we do. Our dances, songs, languages, and ceremonies are not relics of the past. They are living expressions of our identity. By safeguarding our cultural heritage, we ensure that the wisdom of our ancestors continues As we celebrate the achievements of all New Mexico tribes, let us also recognize the collective efforts that have brought us to this point. It is through the strength of our community, the dedication of our leaders, and the unwavering support of our friends and allies that we have achieved so much. Together we have proven that self-determination is not just a right, it's a powerful force for positive change. In closing, I invite each of you to carry forward the spirit of self-determination in your heart. Let us continue to honor our past, embrace our present, and boldly shape our future. The journey of the 23 tribes of New Mexico is a testament to what we can achieve when we stand together, guided by our shared values and our unyielding commitment to sovereignty. Thank you.
Good morning! Hey! Father Walter Diaz, President of the Mescalero Apache Tribe, and I would like to recognize our Mescalero Apache Tribal Council members that are here, our tribal elders, and our tribal members, and I want to thank Lee Pipes for that beautiful honor song that he gave. So thank you all very much. Self-Determination and Education Assistance Act evolved out of a very turbulent period for American Indians. For those of you that were here back in that time, this included the occupation of Alcatraz and the occupation of Wounded Knee. Native peoples were actively fighting against the long-standing policy of termination and assimilation into the dominant society. President Richard Nixon was the first U.S. president to acknowledge that the policy of forced termination was wrong. He said, "The time has come to break decisively with the past and to create conditions for a new era in which the Indian future is determined by Indian acts and Indian decisions." This was a huge step forward in accepting that American Indians are human beings, not savages. Since time immemorial, we have lived in harmony with this landscape. We have managed these lands for sustainability long before it became a tax rate. Despite all efforts to take our lands, take our children, and force us to assimilate, we have stood strong and resilient. We must continue to fight the good fight and keep our cultures and languages alive. Although I was ingrained in the belief that we need to hold the U.S. government to its trust responsibility, I have come to the realization that the only way we will move forward as native peoples is to take control of our own destiny. There were great Indian leaders of the past, such as our late great President Wendell Chino, who worked tirelessly to make sure our people had health care, homes with running water, and much more. And look at how far we have come since then. Tribes have used their resources to create a myriad of business enterprises to provide our people, including Indian gaming. We no longer have a guardian and ward relationship with the federal government. We know what our people need, and Indian self-determination will help us to reach our full potential. But within this new world order that is developing in Washington, D.C., tribes must stand strong together because there is strength in numbers. We must come to equitable terms with one another because all work together to maintain our tribal identity. This is the only way we will overcome the challenges that we face today. We have withstood and overcome far greater challenges
one that strangled our ancestors to overcome the historic trauma that is slowly crippling our people. United we stand, but divided we will fall. Let us all stand and work together and create a better future for the generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you, President Nygren, Dr. Roybal, and President Padilla Walsh. We really appreciate it. And I wanted to quickly just mention, President Nygren was talking about First Lady of Navajo Nation. She helped us this summer in trying to figure out how to best draft the regalia bill. She was one of the legislators on the Arizona side who all passed that legislation. So we're thankful to her for all of her help and to the President as well. So thank you all. We're going to move on. This isn't on the agenda, but we wanted to give an opportunity to our Secretary from Department of Veterans Services, and he's going to give an honorary.
Good morning. Thank you for being here and for the honor of being here today for this purpose. Beverly. So, we're here today and being given the opportunity to honor one of our veterans of the Navajo Nation. A World War II Marine War veteran who is now 100 years old. And I thought no better place to celebrate one of our own Native American heroes and the example of self-determination and resilience and the will to continue and make sure that we have a society in which we enjoy today that he himself fought for on several occasions. So allow me to read a couple points about our veteran. Born on August 8, 1924, in Cañoncito, New Mexico, home to the Navajo chapter of the Navajo Nation. He is the last of 3 brothers and 4 sisters. His family were farmers and ranchers growing gardens, corn, and raising cattle, goats, and horses. Burton was active in windy rodeos going on in the Texas to Santa Fe, Crown Point, and Wingate to grade 11 when he was drafted at age 17 in the Navy. Mr. Botello served in the U.S. Navy from November 1943 to December 1945, and in the Army Air Force from October 1948 to August of 1952 as he transitioned into the United States Air Force. He primarily served on the USS Fremont attack transport ship during World War II and participated in the landing of Saipan, Palau Islands, Leyte Gulf, and Iwo Jima. After leaving the Navy, he joined the Army Air Corps and he took part in the Berlin airdrop in June of 1948 and May of 1949, delivering food and supplies to Allied controlled areas of Berlin. During the Korean War, he served on cargo planes flying food to people on Korean boats. He left the Air Force with a rank of staff sergeant in 1952. His brother Jim was also served in the Navy during World War II in the short USS James Bruce. During his service, of note, this is a special memory that we leave with him and his daughter, Minga. Obviously, on the ship, you can appreciate the isolation that takes place for veterans and our service members as they're doing their duties. During this moment of isolation, came on the Fremont when his younger brother's ship, the destroyer James Bruce, was the same port as Burton's off New Guinea. Botello was called to the bridge as though someone wanted to see him and was on the way over. His brother Joe arrived at the Fremont in a small boat, and they were able to spend a couple hours together eating and sharing stories. After leaving the Navy, money before finishing school and joining the Air Force. He was a crewman on the Air Force cargo plane, delivering food and supplies to allied controlled areas of Berlin. And he ensured that people had access to those supplies during the Soviet blockade. When he returned home to New Mexico during the war, Bishop Platero worked for the Public Health Service and the Navajo Tribe Community Health Department. He retired in 1990. Bishop Platero remains active work for Washington Christian with his family. There are some things about his time in the military, especially during the war, that people here don't have discussed or to speak of. And he constantly stays in contact with his family, who are also all veterans. Burton has 3 children. The oldest, Daryl D. Platero, who served in the Marine. His daughter, Linda Platero, who's also here with us, served in the United States Air Force. And her husband, Mark, also retired from the Air Force. And lastly, Veronica Platero. Ava has 3 children, 2 active military. Melissa's in the United States Air Force, Emily in the United States Army, and son, Nathaniel McGuire in the United States Marine Corps, retired. Mr. Platero is a proud member of the Tehachapi chapter of Navajo Nation, and he has been 6216 at the American Legion. Please, if you're able, please stand as we bring Mr. Platero to the front. On behalf of the Department of Veteran Services, sir, and a grateful state and nation, we want to provide you with a small token of our appreciation for your service and sacrifice to our state, to our nation, and most importantly, keeping Native American heritage alive in our state and in our nation. We proudly recognize you and sincerely thank you for your service. I appreciate everybody taking the opportunity to allow this to happen. Thank you, sir. Would you like to say anything?
Yes, I'm the youngest daughter of Mr. Burton Terrell. My family members are here. And also, I really would like to thank the people who put this all together. Initially started with dealing with veterans, Lake, and I'm so thankful. I can't even speak, but I just want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts and open this up. We appreciate our dad very much. Thank you so much.
Again, thank you very much for the opportunity to honor our past, to enable our present, and to secure our future. So please, the rest of the veterans that are here present today, thank you for what you do. Thank you for following the footsteps of the great leaders like Mr. Burton Platero. Thank you very much.
Sheila Bridge. Thank you, Mrs. Carroll. Thank you, Secretary Nguyen, for that. Secretary Herrera had actually reached out to me a couple of weeks ago, and he wanted to ensure that we were able to honor our veterans. And so thank you, Senator Fowler, for bringing it to our attention. It means a lot. And thank you again to our service members. I did a short time in the Army for a little bit when I was younger, so I know how important service is for our communities. We are almost at the end. Thank you all so much for joining us today. I'll have some brief closing remarks in a minute, but I want to move in to our dance performance from the San Fe School Dance Group. I believe they will be doing a Bon Air dance, and I believe they are all young guys from Pocket Studios.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you to the campaign and our dancers. It's always such an honor to have such our youth joining us. It's so good to see them and ensuring that our culture and our traditions happen in our country. We are getting to the final pieces of our day presentations today. I know lots of you have many things going on. So again, I want to send our final thank you to the tribal leaders. Thank you for those of you who spoke today. Thank you for those of you who came up and joined us. It means a lot that you're here to thank you again for working with me and the Indian Affairs Department. Thank you to all of our state officials, our governor, Lujan Grisham, and our legislators for supporting our Asian public and tribal and Native American citizens here in the state of New Mexico. And all of the advocates who also work on behalf of our Native citizens in New Mexico. Thank you. One more special shout out to our sponsors, PNM, New Mexico Gas Company, and Presbyterian for helping us to get some of the food and video out to you all today. I want to also give a big shout out to the Indian Affairs Department staff. They're scattered throughout, but for those of you who are here, you can raise your hands so that everybody can see the amazing staff we have at Indian Affairs who's here working for you. We have a very small agency, but we are a very mighty agency. We do everything we can to continue to work for our nation, public, and private. A quick reminder, tomorrow at the Roundhouse here is an Indigenous Women's Day. So if you get the opportunity to come stop by, come show your support. And then I'm going to close out what we are still going to have our return of colors. And then we will have a closing prayer from Governor Chavez from the Public Assembly. So we'll close out for just a couple more minutes so that we can get through that. If I don't see you before, have a great year. Please show your support to Indian country. Please help us get our bills passed and get this funding out to Indian country. And I look forward to celebrating with you all again next year. Please remember to join us for the luncheon at Santa Fe Kids School. It starts around you. Chicken wings for everything. Thank you. Governor Shelton. Or Chief
extend appreciation to the contribution Josette and our different secretaries and the legislation. We appreciate very much for us being here today. This is a big gathering. I always keep in mind we're all as many people. We have this place before you should come to the house, our house, your house. So always keep in mind that. With that, I'm going to really want to introduce right now.
Governor Ortiz, thank you.